Hi everyone, welcome back. If you want to move to the UK but don't have that sponsored job and so don't have a visa, this is absolutely what you need to hear today. The Young Professional Scheme for Indians has just been announced and the ballot is going to be open very soon. So if you want to move to the UK this year, this video is for you, so keep watching. If you're new, I'm Ashika and I talk about moving across the world to work or study. And with that, let's dive in. So the good news is if you're Indian and you want to move to the UK, the Young Professional Scheme has just been announced for Indians and the ballot opens in just a few days on the 18th of Feb at 2:30 p.m. IST. And you have 2 whole days to apply for the ballot, so don't be too stressed about it because the ballot closes on the 20th of Feb at 2:30 p.m. Now, if you're new to this, the Young Professional Scheme allows people to live and work in the UK without the need of a sponsored job for up to 2 years, which is brilliant if you ask me. So let's just go through the eligibility. To be eligible, you should be an Indian citizen, which goes without saying. You should be between 18 and 30 years. You should have eligible qualifications, and we'll come to that in a bit. And you should have at least £2,530 in your savings. And another very important point, you shouldn't have any children under the age of 18 who are financially dependent on you. In terms of qualifications, you would need to have at least a bachelor's degree or a degree higher than that. And when it comes to the money that we just spoke about, the £2,530, this should be in your savings account. It can be in the form of FDs, it can be in the form of just savings in your account. It's entirely up to you. But it needs to be in your account. Now, the thing with this visa, unlike all the other visas that the UK offers, is that it follows a ballot system. A ballot is like a lucky draw. So every year from the past 2 years or so, the UK has been running this program for Indians. There's a separate program for Indians. There's a separate one for everyone else, and there's a separate one for Indians. So every year they run this, and you go, you participate in the ballot, and after a few days or weeks, some people get selected. It's just luck, nothing else. Now, the people who get selected will then be invited to apply for this visa. So basically, anyone can take part in the ballot, but only the people who have been selected or are lucky in this lucky draw eventually get to apply for a visa. And this visa is quite literally as good as it gets if you haven't been able to land a job in the UK. Because with this visa, you don't require a job. So you just get this visa, you apply for it, you get the visa, and you fly to the UK. And then you can come to the UK, you can look for a job, you can study if you want to, you can just explore the UK if you want to. It's all up to you. Now, remember to enter the ballot, and only the ballot, not to apply for the visa, to enter the ballot, these are the documents that you will need to have and the details that you will need to have ready. You will need to enter your name. You will need to enter your date of birth. You will need your passport details. You will need a scan or a photo of your passport. Now, I would suggest that you save the scan of your passport on your computer in advance and don't rush to do it at the last minute on that day. And please remember, it needs to be ideally a scan of the front and the back of your passport, the first page and the last page. You would also need to give a valid phone number and have a valid email address. This is quite literally all you need for the ballot. Now, once the ballot is completed, within 2 weeks, the emails will start getting sent out to people who have been successful. The most important thing, it is free to enter the ballot. You do not have to pay any money to enter this ballot. Last year, I remember there was a scheme going around, or a scam to be very honest, where people were circulating this fake link which was asking people to pay money to enter a ballot. Absolutely not. Remember, you don't have to pay anything to enter the ballot. Now, how the ballot also works is that there are 2 ballots that happen every year. One is now in Feb and the other one is in August. So there are 3,000 places available, or 3,000 slots available. Most of those slots will be used up in this ballot. The remaining balance slots of people who didn't apply for whatever reason will be released in August. So if you want to apply, this is quite literally the best time to apply because there are more spaces available. And also remember, you can only enter the ballot once because your passport number will be recorded in the system. So if you use a different name or a different phone number and you try to submit multiple entries, it's really not going to work because they'll just get cancelled out. So don't do that to yourself. Now, once you've received results of the ballot, and if you've been successful, first of all, well done, congratulations. But then you have 90 days to apply for the visa. So you basically have 90 days to get all the documents ready that you will eventually need to apply for the visa. And there's a whole list of documents required, but just remember you will need a passport because that is extremely time sensitive. And you will need to have the money in your account. You will need to have recorded proof of your graduation or your post-graduation. You will need a police certificate, but do not get it now. It's not required now. And you'll also need to do a TB test, which is again not required now. For now, the only things that you will need are what I told you earlier: your passport number, your photo, your date of birth, your phone number, your email ID. That's all you need right now. But if you are serious about this visa and like you don't have your graduation mark certificate or whatever, I suggest you like step on it, get those details because they do tend to take time. Now, remember, the day the ballot goes live at 2:30 p.m. IST on the 18th, there's a very high possibility there will be a huge queue. So you will be left in a waiting room waiting to apply online. Don't worry. You have 2 whole days. So what I suggest is don't try at 2:30. Wait for some time and then apply. So give it a couple of hours, then the initial rush will just calm down and then you apply so you're not stuck in a queue. The other thing that happens is when too many people apply the first time, the system tends to go under a lot of pressure. Sometimes errors happen. So relax, take your time, apply in the evening of that same day. Don't apply at 2:30. And last time, many people wrote back saying they forgot to attach their passport details. They forgot the front of the passport. They forgot the back of the passport. They put the wrong phone number. They put the wrong email ID. See, unfortunately, once your entry has been submitted, there's almost nothing you can do to change it. So when you apply, calm down, take a breath. Sit with somebody beside you who knows your details, who can check your details as you're entering them, so that you do not make a mistake. More importantly, before you hit that submit button, read your details again. Don't be in a rush. You have 2 days. Read all of the details clearly. And you might think I'm exaggerating, but I've made these videos so many times. I've told people so many times to check details. And despite that, I know for a fact that on the 18th, I am going to get messages saying, I made a mistake. What can I do? And unfortunately, the answer is nothing. So this time round, I pray that I do not receive any such messages because all of you would have gotten it right. And sometimes they send an OTP either to your email address or your phone number. It's been changing over the past few times. So either way, please keep both handy and make sure that you have a stable internet connection when you are applying. Because if the internet goes because the electricity got cut off, I don't really know if you'll be able to restart the process because you've already filled in some details. So do remember, ideally do it in a place where the internet doesn't get cut off. Another important thing for you to remember is that if you do get selected in the ballot, then you have to pay the visa fees. Those are the only fees you'll need to pay. The visa fees are £298. The £2,000 that I spoke about just needs to be in your account. You don't need to pay it to anyone. But if you apply for the visa after being successful in the ballot, you will have to pay a visa fee of £298. Also, another request, if you aren't serious about this, don't apply, because the first time around, a lot of people applied and then changed their mind about actually applying for the visa, even though they were successful in the ballot, and then they blocked a lot of spots that other people would have been eligible for. So if you aren't 100% sure that you actually wanted to do this, don't apply. You can always apply in August if you've changed your mind by then. So give somebody else a shot. Okay, so all you need to do is, number 1, keep an alarm or a reminder for the 18th so you remember to apply. Number 2, make sure that you have a steady internet connection. Number 3, make sure your email address works and your phone number has network. Number 4, keep your passport details handy. They'll just ask you for your passport number. Number 5, please scan and keep a copy ready of your passport. So you can either save it in a JPEG format, a PNG format, or a PDF format. Ideally save it in all 3 so that if the requirements have changed of what file extension it needs to be, you have all 3 ready and then you can just upload it. Now, that's it. On the 18th, I will share more guidance in case something has changed on how you need to apply in case you're stuck. But you shouldn't be. It's a fairly simple process. Anyway, all the best. I wish you lots of luck. I hope you're successful so that you can come and live in the UK and experience it firsthand, because it's a wonderful country to be in. Trust me, I live here and I actually really like it. Thank you for watching and see you soon.